Welcome, guys, to the GG podcast brought to you by optc.gg. We are your hosts, Jeremy, Patrick, and Kobe. We see all sorts of really fun news come about OPTCG all the time, and we thought we'd just take the next little bit to just share it with you, and just you can hear some of our thoughts and kind of join us and see the vibe that we have at Locals, which is us honestly just like loving One Piece and One Piece TCG, playing it, and talking about all these cool things that come out almost every week. So yeah, for the next 40 minutes, hours, however long we're gonna shoot for, you can join us and join in the fun. But if you have any questions or anything, always let us know, and yeah, we can get started. All right.
Sweet.
Nice. Yeah, I like this name, .gg podcast. It's a working name. If
Yeah.
anyone has any ideas.
If you have a better one, we will give you some sort of prize for a good name. If it's a bad name, you get nothing.
Wait, there's a prize?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, is anyone looking for a store championship Helmeppo? Because that's your prize.
That's my jam.
Yeah.
Helmeppo collectors, unite.
My name is actually Kobe. Helmeppo is my best friend.
That's true. Yeah, these aren't our player names.
Cool. On a serious note, though, we will be having a giveaway. Hopefully, I think we'll try to aim for one every episode. So tune in till the end for details on that one. Let's jump straight into the latest news. So what we are currently waiting for is basically everything to be released in the new starter decks, coming out in around 2 to 3 weeks. Starting off with Law and Bepo. 10 cost 11k on play, rest up to any character, and it also doesn't refresh, which is very, very strong. And then if your opponent has 2 or more rested characters, your leader gains 2k until the end of the opponent's next end phase. What are your thoughts on this?
You know, it's an interesting one. Like, when I first saw it, I was like, okay, this is like, it's going in Bonnie. Happy to see like Carrot support for all the Carrot fans out there.
Yeah.
But the more I think about it, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I think about Dofi, and this is like searchable, yes. But it's kind of doing what Dofi does, which is just helping you stall out. And I think that in the situations where you need to stall out as someone like Bonnie, like Dofi actually just kind of does it better because it just hits more characters. So, and I think also at this phase of the game, like plus 2,000 power, like if you're playing Bonnie, do you really need plus 2,000 power? You're dropping Kid. That's 8,000 power. So it's kind of interesting. I'm not sure like if the searchability brings it up to the level that it needs to be. But it's something that like I know I'm really excited to test, and it could actually make a huge difference for a deck like Carrot, because it's just much more aligned with what she wants to do in her game plan of really stalling things out and then kind of looking for opportunities to poke in.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. My first thought when I saw this was like, how will you have the Dawn for leader ability? Which was like, okay, this assumes you have Cavendish in play, or like a Uruj in play, or some way to restand your Dawn at the end of your turn. But if that case is true, then like why wouldn't you play Dofi to your play? Like why would you play this over Dofi? Because the only difference you're getting is if you fulfill this condition, you get the plus 2,000 power, but then you still need leader ability active, right? And there's sometimes where I know there's sometimes you would play Dofi even if you can't use leader ability because you're like, oh, I'm freezing 3 targets, that's huge. But if you can't use leader ability, I'm not sure you'd still play this. Now I love that I actually thought that same thing, Mink support. I was like, oh yeah, Carrot players, let's go. It's like, it's your time. It's your era. But no, it's so tough. Like Bonnie's deck already has so many slots filled. Like it's so, like that deck already is bricky and requires like such perfect ratios. I don't know how you put this in without taking something else out, like a Dofi or your 8-cost Kid, where I'm glad that this choice exists for flexibility. Like maybe there's some builds that now use other things that leverage this better, but I don't know how you can play this without changing something else out. But nonetheless, always happy to see like a bigger spread of cards for people to like try to come up with something with. So and we still got another SR from Bonnie, right? So
that's
like,
true. There could be more.
Maybe there's a one that like pairs with us well. Maybe that's the idea.
Yeah, I mean, I wish this was just like activate main if the card was played this turn. Like it would have been nice to have that. So then, even though it might be kind of a suboptimal card, it's in there for Blackbeard.
Yes.
So now it kind of enters the deck based on necessity, right? Yeah,
that's actually a great point. Like if this is activate main, this is actually such a good answer to Blackbeard for Bonnie because you can play this on 10 and then stun a Blackbeard. Like that's a big deal actually. Like and then you go to 7 so they can't swing at you with their leader at least. So that's like 1 card saved, but. Yeah, that's like and Bonnie has such a hard time with Blackbeard already that
it would have been nice to have little something. I should know this, but you can rest something that's already rested, right? So you can fulfill this card even if the card isn't active.
Yeah,
you can still target it.
Yeah, you can still target it.
Because it says up to, so you can just choose 0, and then you still do the rest of it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But if you choose 0, because it says like rest.
I guess so you choose the rested target still.
You're still resting a rested character. Yeah, which I believe you can do. I remember. I should know. Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest question is always, with these new cards, what does it replace? And yeah, that was a good point. Does it really replace 10 cost Dofi? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's yet to be seen. It does have bomb-ass art.
Yes. I love this art, and I love any of these duo cards, like Law and Bepo.
Yeah.
Yo, Luffy and Zoro when? Like, for real, though.
So true.
Like,
no, that would be way too strong. That's the problem, right? Luffy and Zoro. It's like the golden duo.
Yeah.
So here we got new Shanks. SR, 9 cost 10k. It has -3 cost in your hand if your opponent has a character with an original power of 8,000 or more. And on play, this is leader locked here to red-haired pirates or Uta. Your leader gains 2k power until the end of your opponent's next phase. So lots of 7k shenanigans here.
It reminds me of like that last set of Star decks where they're making everything a 5-drop that gives a Dawn. It seems like now what they want to do is give everyone a card that makes their leader 7k. I mean, it's interesting. Again, like with this card, like when I first saw it, I think like everyone else was like, oh my goodness, like Shanks is going to be broken. But after thinking about it a little bit more, I mean, it's again, like, what does it replace? And if you think about it, like, okay, so you're getting plus 2,000 power, that's great. But like usually on the turns that you would be playing this card, you're going to be playing something like a Rayleigh, who's already kind of getting you that, right? By minusing 3,000 and popping a threat that's going to be continually kind of bugging you. Or you're playing something like Beckman, which is removing the threat. I'm not sure if Shanks really has room to play another kind of like bricky, big card like this when the options that exist are already better.
Yeah, no, I had the same thought too. I actually I've been playing Odin recently, and I was actually debating for a long time if I was going to play 9 cost Whitebeard or 8 cost Rayleigh. And in almost every situation, I found that Rayleigh actually is doing what 9 cost Whitebeard was doing, but a turn earlier and in a more proactive way. Instead of going up to like 6k or 7k or 8k, why not you just clear the 2 things that were going to swing at you anyway, and then clear another thing? And like, especially if they have like a dinky blocker, like you'd rather actually clear it with Rayleigh because you clear it now rather than clear it later is like the better way to do it. And it's like 1 cost less, and it's a whole turn earlier sometimes that it comes out. That like I can't see the plus 2,000 meaning too much here. I mean, they didn't give it film typing, which is like, if you want to make this Uta play, like why wouldn't you make it film type? It's
so true.
There are RP Uta players out there who are just like, I bet you go in the main Discord for like the RP Uta channel, and I bet you there's just so much rage right now of like, they couldn't even give it film. I've been starving for support. But yeah, I agree. It's like, what does it replace is always the big question, and then the condition, the first condition is actually harder to fulfill than you think. Like you can't cheat. Like you're not cheating this out early because, like, if you're gonna play this on 6 Dawn on curve, there's no 5-drop 8k. So that's just out of the question already. If you're playing it after, like they play 8k, like no one plays the 6 cost 8k vanilla. So the earliest you'll come out is 8 because, like the threats that come out that are AK are usually 7 cost AK Whitebeard or 7 cost AK Jack. Those are the 2 units that I think are relevant. Oh, and Luffy. But I'm not sure you're playing this in response to any of those 3 threats is really meaningful enough to get you back on board. But like, still like the concept of the card I really like because like, even just saying out loud a 6 cost 10k, it's just a fun thing to say. So hopefully someone can figure out what to do with it. But flavor, I love this. And
I think too, it's like a nice way of like trying to counter ramp, which I think what they're doing. Like, I mean, obviously this would be good against purple Luffy. The problem is like, is this good against blue-purple Luffy, right? Because if you're thinking about the matchup against blue-purple Luffy, the problem for Shanks is that they drop 2 9 costs, right? And that's really, really hard to deal with. And even if you were to answer in response with this, it's like, wow, I made my leader 7. Well, there's still 2 9 drops that you have to deal with that you're not going to be able to get rid of. And so I don't see how this helps Shanks in that matchup. Which is a matchup that's quite difficult for Shanks.
Yeah, that is tricky. Because I was thinking about that as well, where it's like you can kind of counterbalance the ramp, but if you drop 2 9 drops, which are also 9k, so at least like this has a bit more power, you're responding with 1 body that has 1k more power. And then by that point, they're probably going to drop like another 1 or 2 anyway.
Yeah, and they tend to have like a huge hand at this point, and they've got giants. So it's like, even if you were to load some Dawn up on this, you have to put, which Shanks doesn't like to do because you tend to be playing all your Dawn to play a big character. Like you'd actually have to Dawn this up significantly to even start trading with those 9 drops and like blue purple's they've got all the counter in the world at this point. They're sitting there because Shanks also doesn't really poke that much against the 6K leader, because if you're playing on curve, you're playing things like Rue. You might play a Usopp, which gets one swing in, so you actually haven't threatened them very much. They're sitting there with this big hand. They've got giants. Like, even if you get this down early, you try and trade into it. I don't think it's going to end well. But yeah, it's still, I kind of want to test it because, again, it is searchable, which is nice. And there is a world where when all the blue purple, you're just swimming in a sea of blue purple, that maybe you put this in instead of Rayleigh for consistency. I don't know.
Yeah, I see. Like, it is funny what you're saying, but like one thing, like if you guys are still like struggling to play against Shanks and you're trying to get 6K leaders this time, the funny thing about playing a 6K leader against Shanks is that you are now what Shanks is to everyone else, which is I can swing at you, you can't swing at me, which is like one of the most like fun things. Like, no, I'm Shanks now. You're the one who has a hard time like getting the attacks through. And yeah, like you know, one thing about this effect is like kind of interesting is that, does this just pass the turn back to your opponent? Like, so many times, if you just go up to 7K, what if your opponent just plays a big body and passes back to you, and you're like, oh, the added power actually didn't matter too much. And then you just then be like, okay. Which I always think to consider with any deck you're playing is like, does doing this actually just make me pass back to my opponent, and then they pass back to me? In which case, like, have I actually won the game from here, or am I just delaying things? Well,
that's especially true with Shanks, because you kind of already are naturally protected anyway. Because it's like, if they play something big on curve and they swing 5, you're like, leader ability. It's like, do I really need to be 7? Because if they just play something big and they would have swung 5 anyway, it doesn't really help that much. But yeah, I guess that probably the final thing I would say that would be the key takeaway, though, is that it is just searchable, and Shanks' problem is not having consistency. And I mean, I've been experimenting with like running like Utas and the Shanks Searcher and like trying to find ways to cycle. And it's like that deck, as it just gets more and more consistent, it becomes more and more scary. And if the deck ever kind of fills in some of its gaps and then is consistent, it will just be like a huge menace.
With Mono Searcher,
and so this is still a step towards making it more of a menace, I will say, but I don't know if it helps it in the current climate.
I love hearing about Searchers, which is why I love some of the cards coming up later. Anyway.
Let's take a look here. So you got Izo, 2 cost 1K. Dawn X2, this character gains blocker on play. Your Wano country type leader gains banish this turn. So another banish option here, and also a target for Yamato leader ability.
I mean, so my initial thoughts here was, I was like, but they're just going to run Onami, and then it kind of hit me, or they can run Onami and this. And then I was like, oh no.
Why not both?
I had to wrap my head around that, because this is kind of really scary, because they always, like, the weird thing about playing against Yamato has always been that, like, when they swing, when you're just starting out and you play against Yamato and they swing at you, you're like, oh, I have counter, let me counter, or like, let me block. And then you start to realize, and the next time when they do it with banish and you lose, you're like, actually I can't, I have to actually take this so that I have the resources to guard the banish swings. And now with cards like this, it's like, there's gonna be more banish swings coming at you. And this has double utility where it can actually block, because sometimes you just die. So I think it's kind of, it's interesting. I haven't played Yamato enough to know if they have space for it. In some ways, Onami is still like a lot better than this, because it plays to your game plan more, which is being able to kill blockers. And I think I lost it on a potential top 8 from Onami back in those days as Sakazuki. So I think like that's one of your win cons in some matchups. And so I don't know if there's room for this. I don't know what you think, like if they can fit this in, because I do think having double banish would be really nice for sure, like, or 8 characters that can give your leader banish double.
I personally really like this card, because I think one of the big differences here is that I think the Wano like land of Wano typing here is a big deal, because like you didn't know Onami was never like land of Wano typed, so actually searchability wise it made it weird to have in the deck if you're trying to also fit like Wano packages or like Wano searchability, it would make that awkward. But that trigger was so good, the on play was so good that it would make you wonder, like, it's such a Yamato card, why isn't it Wano typed? This almost feels like they're trying to address that, where it's like, you now have it in the better typing, searchability, but you will lose the trigger. Or are you going to be a deck that runs both because you just want the consistent, like at 8 copies, that's like super consistent seeing one of your banish cards on that perfect timing for your Yamato swing, right? So that's really good. I think the fact that you can use Yamato's ability defensively with this card is super flavorful. I think I love that as a concept for like, they probably know like some people even like playing like Fortress Yamato, and they're like, oh, maybe this is like a Fortress Yamato card.
It might be actually, like the more I think about it, like, it does feel like a card that would go along. You drop a kid, and now you've got a blocker here. Just double attack or with banish last turn. You know, like there's like some great utility
some fun fortress combo. So I think maybe this is like a fortress card, and I think it's just added. If anything, it's just trying to round out the deck, which is why I think I really like it. It's just like kind of what I think starter deck should do, which is like just fill in some of these spots that are missing. Some of these cards that you're like, why don't I have this amazing card in my deck, but in my actual own typing and for me, you know? It's white beard searchability probably isn't going to be a big deal. So, but like, you know.
You never know.
Oh yeah. Red yellow Odin leader. Red yellow Yamato. Who knows?
The thing with all these cards, like we talk about, what does it replace and stuff, but also it is very nice to have just options.
Yes.
Just to have like flexibility for any sort of like specific metas or decks that you really hate. It just kind of helps like future proof. Decks as well.
And never underestimate the 8 copy play. Remember when Raise Max came out and we're like, oh, Gordon is done for. And then turns out, no, RP Law runs 8 copies of Gordon basically. And then we were all disgusted for a whole meta.
It's true. No, it's true. Because I've certainly had games versus Yamato where I'm like, oh man, if they had Nonami there, I think I lose, right? Yeah. Yeah,
it's a real problem. Okay, another Bonnie card here with X.Drake, 5 cost 5k. This is a 2k counter. On play, if your leader, Supernova type, rest up to a cost 5 or lower, then at the end of the turn, set up 1 Dawn as active. Do keep in mind, if you have the 5 cost Smoker character, that will interrupt this, and it actually won't restand that Dawn. So
right.
Very important.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think this is actually the card that will probably be good for Bonnie, right? Like, I think you just run this. Right? In Bonnie, I think this is just like it's a 2K.
Because there's right now I think their slots for 2Ks is Bonnies actually have a hard time filling that last 2K slot because they're like, oh, do I want like they run the 1 cost approved from EBO1 because it rests a 2 cost or less. I mean that's helpful because it hits Vasco Shot, but like a lot of people aren't running it because they want the on play. They're running it because they just need a searchable 2K to fill that slot, not necessarily because they're gonna play it. I know some people even run the 2 cost film Supernova 2K like Luffy for that reason actually, because they're just like it could be anything, and then like this is kind of nice and it's cheaper, but this is a really great alternative now.
Yeah. Great
on play ability, the fact that it restands a Dawn, the fact that it's got like super searchable typing too if anyone else wants to run it, like it has Navy typing, and yeah. Like 5 cost or lower is a huge difference. That's like resting like 5 cost kid blockers now, and it's resting like a bunch of 5 cost blockers. Yeah, I know. It's like it's what a 2K should be. It should be flexible and fun.
Yeah, it's like Bonnie finally got their like T-Bone or who's
right? Basically,
like the 5 cost kind of like ill-statted for what it does, but it's a 2K, so it can save you. In a bad situation. How about green yellow law?
Oh yeah, Grillow's a thing. Yeah.
I don't know enough about that deck to know if they would want to actually run this.
Would they need that 1 Dawn extra?
Yeah.
I guess you can run the room counter.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Definitely for Bonnie though, like it's like a 5 cost is kind of steep, but it's a 2K. It's an Uso Hachi, right?
Yeah.
Rest of 5 cost. And restyling the Dawn for Bonnie, you always take this.
Yeah.
It being a target for shambles, we're not even going to talk about because I know that as RP Law players, X.Drake like that, we've like let that boat sail. We're just we don't want to touch on old wounds. This is not support for that.
Yeah, I didn't mention that on purpose.
Oh, sorry.
I don't even want to think about it.
We can be dreamers here.
I'm sorry. It's okay. You can dream. You still play RP Law. I believe in you.
Take the time to indulge here.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we've got an Alvida for Buggy support, 4 cost 5k. If you have 2 or more characters with original cost of 5 or more, this character gets cost +1, which satisfies the 10 cost Buggy. On play, if your leader is Buggy, draw 3, discard 2.
This one's hard to wrap my head around. When I read it, I was kind of like, okay, like it's helping Buggy do Buggy things. It's helping you cycle. It replaces itself. And I guess it fits in on different Dawn curves, right? Because you can play it for 4. So you kind of save a Dawn. Is this enough to make Buggy tier 0?
Yeah,
or even tier 3?
I don't know. I mean, like, I don't even... a part of me that's like, is the cost like also in your hand it'll be more expensive too?
Yeah.
Like
no. Oh no.
Okay. So it's only cheap. Like it's cheaper to play.
Yeah.
But then it's easier to protect.
And then it fulfills.
And then it fulfills the cost too. Okay. I want to understand. I mean, yeah. I don't know. Like as a person who just loves like interactive cards that have like fun interactions, I like that it's a draw 3 discard 2 on 4 Dawn. Like I think that's the earliest cost line we've seen that happen at.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's like game breaking, I don't know, because it wasn't game breaking on 5 Dawn. Is it game breaking on 4? I don't really think so.
Yeah.
And Buggy already had like wonderful ways to cycle like the stage. Like in my opinion, like I love that stage because it's such an interesting. Like I don't know if this is like that much better for your game plan.
Yeah. I had almost like when I read it, I almost wish they just went a step further. Maybe this would be too much, but I don't think so. I wish they had made it 3 cost plus 2.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, I felt like that would have maybe been powerful enough now to give the deck just something like some sort of oomph, because that's kind of what it's missing. Maybe that would have been too good though.
Yeah, they do seem kind of tame with these cards, right?
Yeah. And something like Buggy, I feel like it needs a little bit more. Like it just needs something to get it going. And being able to kind of start getting the pieces together earlier, like if you're going first on like a 3 Dawn turn, might have been nice, but I don't know. Because I always just kind of feel like Buggy doesn't do much for a while, and then all of a sudden they just start kind of playing these big bodies. But yeah, I have to try it out because I guess this is your going second curve. Yeah, this is what you want to play.
We need a Buggy specialist to just like chime in on here, but yeah,
I don't even have any. I don't know any.
It's tough. They do have hand size issues, so it does help to mitigate some of that. To the degree that it mitigates it, I don't know. It's yet to be seen.
Yeah, because it replaces itself. But we'll find out because, like I said, like this is the earliest we've ever seen draw 3, discard 2. Yeah. This is like the earliest you can do that now. So who knows?
Yeah,
maybe that one cost line makes a difference. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is leader locked.
Yeah.
Here we've got our SR Buggy for cost 1k. Activate main. You may discard 1 card and send this to the trash. If your leader's Buggy, play a cost 6 or lower cross guild type from your hand.
This one I really don't understand. It just seems so neg. I guess you have ways of drawing cards, but you're discarding a card and you're trashing this, right? Mm-hmm. So you're going -2 just to play out a cross guild type.
And likely the next turn that you do that, you'll probably use leader ability and trashing another card.
Yes.
To bring out like 2 cards, right?
Yeah. So that does not seem good.
So can you pull up Buggy's leader ability? I'm kind of like, am I missing something here? Like, I feel like I must be missing something. Like, am I out of touch? Am I out of touch?
Well, it is activate main, so there's that. It's not an on play.
Yeah. Whenever we see that, we're like, great.
Okay.
Blackbeard, no anti-fun from Blackbeard.
Yeah.
Okay. Buggy's effect is activate main. You may rest 5 of your Dawn cards and trash 1 card from your hand. Play up to 1 cross guild type character card from your hand, like of any cost.
Anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're obviously not playing this off your leader ability because it's at that point just play the 5 cost character and that's good.
Yeah.
So is it just because on your 4 Dawn turn you don't have anything to do, so you just play this so that the next turn you can get double leader ability off? Like, is that the whole point? For the
most part, that's basically what it is.
I'm trying to fix. I think both of these cards address like the going second curve, which is a bit of a problem. For Buggy. So this kind of just lets you get started. Like it's kind of what I was saying, like giving the deck some oomph. Like it lets you get started earlier, doing what you want to do. Because part of the problem with Buggy is again he just doesn't like he doesn't do anything, and then he's like scrambling to kind of like get a full board, get down the and it usually just dies before that, or just gets his board removed by things. So this is just getting it like a little bit faster.
Yeah, I'm realizing now the equivalent of this card to help me contextualize, because I've been playing Odin, is it's Hiyori, like 4 cost Hiyori from EDO 1 for cross guild characters, but instead of drawing a card, you lose a card.
Exactly.
Which Hiyori was already not great, that you're now making a Buggy Hiyori.
Yeah, it's bizarre, right? You don't need to discard a card to do that. I don't understand why they do that.
Yeah. Like
maybe it's to mimic the leader effect of discarding a card and just showing how like Buggy is generally weak.
I think it is. Yeah, it's like an earlier leader effect, right? That's what the card is basically, leader effect.
And what's the most OP 6-drop you can play? Is it Mihawk?
Probably Mihawk, because it does draw 2 trash ones, so it helps a bit there.
Okay, so like this, like the dream curve here is you 4 Dawn drop Mihawk, but then you lose 2 cards to play the Mihawk, which draws 2, discards 1. So you net lose 1 to play a Mihawk on 4 Dawn. Mm-hmm. And that's still just a 4 cost 7k, and then at that point you can play an Ichi-Chi as Reiju.
Yeah.
If you want to have that fun as blue. So I don't know. I'm happy that it's there for like the even curve, but when I contextualize it as like Hiyori for Buggy, it's like not quite there.
Yeah. It's so interesting to I don't know why they also made it so you have to trash this character. Like, it's interesting.
Yeah.
like it feels excessive. Like just like it could be like play this, trash this character, and then play a 6 cost. That would actually be good. And now we're talking like now, but like not discarding a card.
Yeah,
right?
Is there a
like
6 cost
play this trash
Croc? Is there a 6 cost Croc in Crosscode? There isn't, right?
I don't think there is yet.
Oh, okay. Random theory. I think there's going to be a 6 cost Croc in the starter deck as an SR, and it'll be kind of thematic where the Buggy can play either Mihawk or Croc, 6 cost. Like even if it sucked, I'd be like, at least it's flavorful. At least it's flavorful, right?
That should be a thing.
Yeah, I like that.
The other thing I noticed, like 1K stat line, like if you keep it on board for a future turn, we'll probably KO it somehow.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
It's just so risky.
It's already dead.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been nice if it at least had like, I don't know, some protection.
Can't be slashed.
Yeah, like
something stupid like that.
Can't be slashed.
Can't be
I was
slashed.
gonna say like just even like a Kuzan effect or something, you know, like to keep it so it could just sit there for when you need it. Like that would kind of be nice. Because yeah, just like imagine you play this and they're just like Nico Robin, and you're like, oh, you know, like
Yeah. That's wild.
1 Dawn KO your 4 cost. Yeah.
Okay, so this one I assume it's for the Shanks deck, right? Monkey.D.Luffy 1 cost 2k activate main. You may rest 1 Dawn and this character. Give a character minus 1k for the turn. Kind of like a weaker stage, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
And the character has to be rested too, so it's under threat. My thought here is like I actually was like excited with this card because not because I think it's good, but like as a person who like loves playing rogue decks and just like the term is like usually Johnny, which is like person who loves making decks and just like it doesn't matter if your deck is good or bad, you're just like I just like making interesting decks. I like cards like this because they're not meant to be super good. I think they're just meant to help you fill in a bunch of random spots for like this is triple typing, which is really good for like people who love deck building because they're like, okay, great, film decks can use this, supernova decks can use this, Straw Hat Crew decks can use this. The effect is like decent. It's not amazing. But it just gives you that extra like, and it's a 1 cost, so it's like the Dawn searchable too. So like it felt like when they made this card, they're just like, let's make like the most searchable card ever, and like let's see if that's good enough for some decks to like use it. Yeah. If it's just purely that's the only thing it has is that it's just the most searchable thing.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't want to talk about Law, but when that was kind of when I saw this, I was like, oh yeah, this could be good in like Red Green Law. Just another like searchable 1 drop to help fill up the board. You can bounce it back to your hand, so you don't like even after you rest it, it kind of comes back. Would it actually help the deck? Not really, but I mean, for the copers out there, you'll probably put. I would probably run a couple of these in there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just. Yeah, you know, I'm not gonna be mad if Bandai makes more of this, and fills in more sets with stuff like this, where it's like let's just make like a card that's not too great, but like super searchable, so that some decks might be able to find some more consistency in just like the ratios. You know?
I do love when like a card is created for a specific starter deck, everyone just runs with it on a completely different deck.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's so fun to see.
We talking about you, Mogun?
Yeah. In a way, it kind of like it's great because it's like in the Shanks deck, but it's kind of like Luffy. He's like going his own way. Like no way Shanks is ever. Like Shanks has his stage. It's like he's fine, right? It's like he's just gonna go off and be in other decks.
Stage building,
he's gonna
snake,
do his own
all
thing.
this
He's
stuff.
gonna become king of the pirates over there. Like have his own adventure.
Also, meanwhile, this has film typing.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Luffy comes out in like Shanks starter deck, and Luffy's like, I'm gonna make my own pirate.
Yeah.
All right, we got an SR Yamato here. 1 cost, 0 power. So Dawn X2, on your turn, you get 3k, which means you basically get a 5k swing off that. On play, you look at the top 5 cards of your deck for a Wano with the cost of 2 or more. I love this new searchability, by the way, with the cost of 2 or more, so you can't search itself. And place the rest on the bottom. Thoughts?
It's neat. I mean, I know you have a lot to say. When I saw it, I was like, yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things going on. Like, there's things that I like what they're doing when they're just kind of increasing the complexity with some of these like lower cost cards. I like that a lot. That's something I've been wanting for a while. It's just to have these cards that can do more and be more flexible in different situations. Yes. Because the thing with 1 costs and 2 costs is that like they can slot in different places.
Yeah.
Like I hate 1 cost that it feels like, okay, if I don't play this on curve, Like I'm never going to play this again. And like the alternative to that is like a searcher where you're like, okay, well, I can search anytime. Other than that, it seems like those turns, you're not really doing anything. And the cards that go in those slots tend to either be searchers or really bad. So I kind of like having these kinds of cards where you can like throw them out at different points in the game as well. And then this is still a threat, right? So you can use your leader ability and swing 5 with this. So it's extra pressure. It's replacing itself when you play it. So you're not negging in cards. So I love these kind of cards that just slot in places nicely, and are threats and could be used in like really kind of creative ways.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same thought process because like I think that was one of the things I wanted, like I thought like Bandai would do more of, and they have been slowly doing it, which is like, you know, what made Red in the first 3 sets so strong was that it had so much like granularity in their plays. Like rather than being like each of my turns is playing one really big thing, Red could always be like, my turn could be a medium-sized thing and then 2 little things, or 5 little things. And then the fact that you can assign your Dawn and play each of these 1-drops so fluidly means that, you know, the chance for you to express skill in how you make those decisions and how you make those little plays was actually really great. So I think I love that Yellow is getting that, because I think Yellow is historically the color that's like slam big body pass, like, you know, slam big body pass, slam big body pass. But the more you have these like cool 1-drops, and, you know, obviously the searcher, so like, yeah, like the more flexibility you give that color and the more chance they have to express skill. I love that it gets this like 3000 power, because like, like give this aggro option. The fact that it also like playing it lets you rest the Dawn, so you need a rested Dawn to attach, right? So you need to make sure you still have plays late game that are gonna use that Dawn up. The fact that the searcher, sick, like Wano type leaders have needed this for so long, like searching your Momo blocker so you can heal, searching Hiyori 2K, like worst case scenario you hit one of your 2Ks. Worst case scenario. Best case scenario, you can hit like a really key tool. Even 9-cost Yamato this hits actually. Like, do you need a heal right now? Grab a 9-cost Yamato and play on the same turn. Do it on the same turn.
Does the Momo blocker, he can put this back on life, right?
He can actually immediately put this.
So you can swing 5 with this, and then put it back on top of your life, right? And then search again with it.
Or like you could search with this, grab the Momo off the top, heal with it immediately, and then play it next turn again to find another Momo and do it again, which I think is super cool. I even think the cost to like thing is actually super important here. Like some of you may think like, oh, why does that matter for like, you know, we've been so starved for sport. The reason they did this, at least my opinion, is if you don't do this, this card can find You Can Be My Samurai, which means people can now play, people can do Yamato into Otama into You Can Be My Samurai, draw 2 cards, meaning they would have go up 4 cards that turn. So it was actually really important that they made it so this card could not do that, because when I saw it, I immediately thought, oh, I really hope I hope I can do this. But then I hope I can't do this actually, because that sounds like an insane 3-Dawn play, like literally a 3-Dawn play. That's insane. But that's why that's there. But I still think people will use it with You Can Be My Samurai, because I think anytime you can just search and then also rest the searcher to draw a card or do something else, it makes that Wano package just really powerful. But yeah, I love this card. I just love flexibility and like, crazy art. And I know it's for Green Yellow Yamato, but a part of me always wants to play starter deck Yamato that's just mono yellow. But we're not gonna talk about that, because that dream is dead.
Awesome. Well, that brings us to the end of our news for the day.
Yay!
So that was a pretty good run.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about the first podcast so far?
I like it.
Yeah,
it's fun. What I like about it is, like, you know, I see these reveals, and I kind of like parse them, but it's like really like looking at them and talking them through. It makes it a lot more fun, and it's also just like, there's so many possibilities that you don't think about. That when you start digging into it, you're like, oh yeah, this can do this can do this. These are exciting cards, I will say. Like there's nothing that is keeping me up at night, which is good. And so it's like, it's really fun to kind of just like talk about them and start brainstorming.
Like it's funny that when you said like nothing keeps you up at night about it, where it's like, I'm sure there are some players like Cross who've been sacked by Yamato, or like they're just like, they see the support and then randomly know that they're like, they have flashbacks to getting Onami banished, and like it's like, oh. One of our friends actually famously like at Montreal sacked Cross on Yamato, and then Cross tweeted about it, and like it's actually one of the funniest things. They're friends, they know each other. It's like really, but it's very funny for that reason, because we look at that tweet and we're like, oh, good times at Montreal. But yeah, I love talking these spoilers, because I think, like, one, I just like hanging out with you guys, because like this is the fun of it. It's like, this is why we go to locals and play like One Piece together, is like we just like talking about the game. Like we could we could fill more than an hour of just us talking about this game. And
I mean, if you guys want to listen to us for more than an hour, please let us know.
We'll pull out all sorts of stuff we can talk about. We can talk about how much pain we have over RG Law, and like we can have like a support group about that.
That could just be the podcast. So don't even.
Yeah, just like RG support.
Every week,
RG Law support group is just all of us. But like even our Discord, we love all like reacting to this news, but it's totally different when we actually get to talk about it with each other like this. So I personally like it, and it gives me the time to sit down and just like enjoy this stuff even more. Mm-hmm. So
yeah. Awesome. So for the future, we've got a bunch of different ideas, like talking about fundamentals for the game, strategy, deck lists, playthroughs of the card game while talking through our thoughts or filming out locals. Again, if there's something you guys want to specifically see, let us know in the comments. I think we'll talk about some giveaway options now. So what we talked about before, maybe like taking a picture of yourself doing a card pose. What do you guys think of that?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. It's like I think we tried it one time, and then our friend Peter was like, "What card am I?" And we're just like confused. It took us so long to realize he was pudding searcher. So hopefully you can do a better job than that. But it took us so long to realize that he was just doing like this, and then looking or something, and we're like, "What are you?" Like, are you holding scissors? Like, are you, what is it? And then it was like the pudding searcher holding like the film. And I was like, okay. It took us way too long. Anyway, regardless of how well you do, it's still a giveaway, and we'll still give a card. We'll still give you a free playmat from the store of your choice for doing that. Which card you'll have to recreate, we'll have Kobe decide later.
Sounds good.
We'll post it on Twitter, and then also be in the video too. So,
yeah, we'll have some information. You can email us. You can send details on Twitter, Instagram. We'll figure all of that out in post as we edit.
Hey guys, this is Kobe editing in post. I just went through the whole video and I'm like, oh shoot, I still need to pick a card for the giveaway. Don't worry, I'm not going to choose Alt Art Foxy later, at least not for the first episode. I did pick EBO2 Alt Art Usopp. I think it embodies the adventurous energy of this whole journey that we have. Don't worry, it doesn't have to be high effort. You don't need to have the right angle or 3 kids in the background. I would like to see passion, just more passion, more footwork, more energy. I think Usopp has a lot of footwork here. So if you can copy that, that's all it takes. As for details, let's say the deadline is 1 week from video release, and you can send us a DM of the picture on Twitter, on Instagram, or through email. See you on the other side. Good luck.
What else do we have here?
Yeah,
I think that's it.
Yeah.
We're at the end here.
Yeah.
But no, this is our first episode of it. Let us know what things you want us to talk about too. There might be news that we've missed. I think most recently we just want to talk about the card reveals. But we know there's all sorts of news in One Piece CG all the time. So if you have something you do want us to talk about, feel free to like at me on Twitter, message me on Twitter, or message us on Instagram, or just comment in the video and say, I'd love if you guys talked about this or that and the other. But yeah,
cool.
Just like let us know.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was a great first pilot, guys.
Yeah.
See you on episode 2.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
Bye.